Hey everyone, welcome to Greenlight. So today we're gonna have a really nice tutorial behind the scenes look at my latest hip hop visualizer. I did a music video for Krown, and it's basically a visualizer all done in Blender. And I'm going to show you how I did that and explain where I got some of the assets and everything like that too as well. Don't forget to check out in the description below. I have a bunch of stuff there, a bunch of things for you to click on. You can check out the Blender link in there in the description as well, and many other things too, including the music video that I have done that I'm explaining here today. So let's get started right now, and let's get going. This is live. I haven't done anything live in a long time, so I don't mean to do a long-winded intro, but let's get this going right now. All right. So if you haven't been here before, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I usually do a bunch of behind the scenes videos of big movies coming out in theaters every week. I have a bunch of movies from Spider-Man No Way Home all the way to our latest from this past weekend, which was Uncharted, and it was the same actor, I guess, another big same actor, Tom Holland. So basically, I have a bunch of B-roll, behind-the-scenes footage and interviews that I collect together. Excuse me. Part of doing this live, like I get a little gassy sometimes, and while you're talking, you know. So basically, I do a lot of behind the scenes footage that I grab of the B-roll footage, and I grab interviews, and I try to put them together where they make some kind of sense, where you get some type of education out of these videos, including even my own behind the scenes like this one today. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button for that. Let me get myself back up on here. And I used to do a bunch of Blu-ray stuff as well. So tomorrow I'm going to be releasing a breakdown video about what to expect from the Spider-Man No Way Home Blu-ray, and kind of go a little bit more in depth of what to expect from their behind the scenes and stuff like that. They just released it today, that they were even going to have a bunch of behind the scenes. So we'll go over that tomorrow, so you can check that out. And again, don't forget to check out in the description below. I have the music video down there as well, so you can go ahead and check that out. But let's get everything going here, so I can show you Blender and all that as well. Here I am. All right, so let's get myself up on here. So I have it kind of set up a little nicely that you can see the program in full, and I can kind of zoom in if necessary and stuff like that as well. As you can see, this is my whole project, and this is kind of how I lay things out. Over here on the top right, you have your shader editor. This is where all the settings and everything that I need for the text, and this is what we're going to talk about first, is the text, and just try to work our way into more or less of the video that I did, and I'll explain little by little as we go things that I have done. Even if you don't see them here, I'll just explain really quick some of the things I have done or where I have gotten it from. So a lot of these things that I learned when it comes to Blender, I put myself through school, more or less, on here through YouTube. So a lot of these creators, including myself, are creating behind the scenes or how-to videos, tutorial videos on how to do all these Blender kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to get into this stuff, because I only have very minimal amount of videos like this. But as you can see with the blue one text, now this isn't my final one that I did, and I'm going to explain to you where to go get your fonts. So quickly, I would go and check all the fonts at 1001fonts.com. Down in the description below, when all this is said and done, and I kind of cut out all these live type of stuff and everything like that, and my pauses or whatever have you, and I just chop them all together. When I chop it all together, I'm basically going to have more links down in the description below, including Turbo Squid, 1001 fonts, which is what I'm talking about right now. So we'll get into Turbo Squid later, but 1001 fonts, you can get all of, I would say it's kind of like an asset on its own, getting the fonts from there, and you can download the actual fonts. So when you get the .tt file, I think it's .ttf or TTIF or something like that. So as you can see, I have my text selected. So once you get that file and you download it, it should be a zip file. At some point you click on that and then open that zip file. So once you do all that and you get into Blender, the first thing you want to do, all right, I'm going to pretend we don't have my text here, and I'm just clicking at the sky at the moment. And then I already have what you call your cursor, which has a circle around it. Basically, I'm just like opening it up here, as you can see here on the left. Basically, it should pop up right where the blue one is, because that's the last thing I basically did when it came to this project. I know I'm working backwards in what I did, but basically just telling you that alone, you should know. Just work on your scene and try to get all your assets together first. Do research. Research is king in any project. You want to do that first, which is why looking at 1001 fonts, starting from there might work, might help, because a lot of people like fonts and they really get into fonts a lot easier than they do with a lot of assets, maybe just too much for them. But then you can just work your way around and get into that. I also have here Blender assets too, that are currently linked into Blender itself, and I can open up the eyeball and you can see this drop down here where there's just a bunch of stuff already opening up. So I'm going to close it up real quick because we want to just go right into the text here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Shift A, and then I could just go down here to text, and then I know you don't see my mouse, but you can see certain things are highlighted. So it's already in there, and it's kind of like it's flat because it's like facing down and it just says text. But what I normally do is I try to like go I press Z here up on the top on the turn wheel. It's kind of like a 360 wheel, and you can grab it and just kind of rotate if you want to. But I like pressing it and going flat with it. I know that the text is here flat, so I'm just gonna press S to scale, and then automatically I could move my mouse and create it and make it really big. All right, now I want to get to the side of it, and you can see over here on my you can see over here on the bottom right here I have a window. Let's get that up here. I have this window here, and this window that you can see here is basically my render window. This is what it should look like at the tail end. Usually I keep it around these little balls you're gonna see on the top right of that little window where my render window is. Basically this little ball here, it's a viewport shading, and then I can go to the next one here, and I could see more of the shading and stuff, and now you could see the blue with coming out of the text and all that stuff as well. And basically all these things, what they do is show you what the final look. And this next one here, which if I press that, it's just going to do a lot of loading and everything like that. Since I'm online streaming and everything, it's kind of tough to have all that on. It just bogs down your computer a lot, and just slows down Blender. It might even crash Blender, you know, per se. And I'm just saying that because that's just in my computer. And if you want to know more about my setup, about my computer and everything like that, you could go ahead and check the link up in the tops. I'll just link it up when everything's all edited and said and done, or in the description below, or at the end of this video. You could go ahead and check it out with the playlist Digital Filmmaking. You could even check that out in the post-production or digital filmmaking stuff. So definitely check that out here. I do have I have an SSD drive currently running my Mac OS. I believe I have all that said in that video, so you can go ahead and check that out in that video. So let's go ahead and continue with our text here. Let me make sure that you guys can see everything. Let's go back to my everything kind of window here, and you can see me here as well. All right, so as you can see here on the left, this is where I have as the biggest window so I can work in it. So now I'm going to press the X side over here on the right side, so I get to the right side of it, or the left side, whatever side you want to. But basically, I need to press R, put my mouse cursor closer to the text, that orange streak here. Press R and bring him up. Now, if you want to know what mode I'm in when it comes to my 3D viewport area, which is what it's called, where everything is all wired and you see the buildings and everything, this window right here that I'm moving around basically is the 3D viewport area. And I have it in wireframe mode, which is the last mode over here, when you see here on the third window, my render window. You see how like I have it popping up viewport shading. That's what they kind of like call it. That little whole section there. But it's basically this wireframe mode, and I like seeing that sometimes. My phone is going a little crazy right now. Somebody's calling. Oh, okay. While my wife's at work and everything like that, my son's in school. I just want to make sure, because my phone, I'm using it to stream all of this. I'm just making sure that I'm not missing any phone calls and stuff like that. So this is some of the stuff that I'm going to be cutting out. So basically getting back into this. So now with the text, let's get into it. So now with the text. So what you want to do in this 3D viewport window is you want to go up to where it says object mode. I'm waiting for my computer to catch up. There we go. I'm doing this all on a iMac. I believe it's a 2013 or something like that, 2013 to 2014, something like that. So when you press edit mode, you're automatically going to get this bar you see on the right of the text at the end of your text. And then you could just type it in like normal. Just go on to your keyboard and type in, I'm just going to do it in caps, BTS. This is a BTS. It already says blue one, so, tutorial. And whatever you type in there, basically. And then once you have it typed, you leave it alone with that cursor the way it is, and then you just go right back into, let's just type in green light. Woohoo, green light. Oh, it didn't do it. Green light. All right. So now I can go to object mode, and you're basically turning it into an object. So I'm gonna go to Y, and then I press G to grab. I have in my Blender playlist, I have a bunch of beginner stuff. Basically, you seeing how I'm working out some stuff. I'm thinking that I should go in there and edit it so it's a little bit more tight knit, and then you get all the information a lot quicker than me pausing and all this stuff, kind of like how I'm doing here live. I'm doing this 100 times better than I've done in those videos, but you also see how a newbie kind of gets into it. And I'm coming from video editing, getting into this. So this is just changed everything in my life. and it's made me very, very happy. So you can see it just says green light here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press X to delete it. It's one of the first, these are the hotkeys that you learn right away, and it's good to learn them right away. So delete that. I'm just going to delete it. And let's get into, let's say, like our text. So now I'm going to click on the blue one because we already made our text. And let's just ignore the shading. And over here to the right, there's these bars right here. Let me just open up the window of that one, the zoomed in part. Okay. It's like super zoomed in now. Let's get that up. So you see here in green with the letter A, I'm going to go ahead and click that. And click that, see what you see here. All right, so automatically you're seeing what I need you to see, and you're seeing on the bottom here, on the side here, it says font, and it's just a tab. I'm just opening up the tab. The tab's already automatically opened, and it kind of says it here what I already have. But since I deleted the file from the computer, it completely deletes the font, but it goes back to a kind of default setting when it comes to the font, and that's why you see what you see for blue one. But this is what I had, which was like Painty Paint or something like that. And you can see the video down in the description below again, like I said. So you could press X over here, and it could go like unlink, and then you press the file quickly, and then it pops up. You get a pop-up window. So let me just have you. I want you to see that. Instead of the side of my head, let's get you to see that. All right, cool. So automatically it's showing me a window for the files and everything like that. It just popped up. You may not, I don't think you were able to see it. I just looked, you weren't able to see it. So either way, that's what happens when you press the file button, and then you can go and find your .tt IF, I believe it is, or TTF or something like that, file for your font, and then it'll automatically just sync up and everything and into words, and it'll be like magic. It's just insane. Once you pop it in there, it just pops up, and you don't have to press the full render or anything here on these screens. So now going into the shader editor. So now going to the shader editor, let's just start from scratch. I'm just gonna X for delete, and it just doesn't even ask you, just like deletes it in here. So I would be careful when you do open up any kind of any model or asset or anything. They usually have shader editor, so you always want to have a window open up just for that specifically. And if you want to know more about that, again, in my earlier Blender videos, I show you how I set up everything and everything like that, and how I set up my window and all that. I even have a video where I create a whole scene for my documentary, and I show you how I set up my window and why I have it set up that way. It just feels a little better. I felt like maybe I have seen it maybe on a YouTube video tutorial, something like that. But usually it comes like this, and it comes with automatically you get, so I'm pressing Control, and then I'm just pushing in with my scroll wheel, and I let it go to like move around. But to zoom in and out, it's just with the control button and scroll wheel. So you get a principal BSDF shader, and it will be connected to your material output shader. And this is what you want, because that's going to go right into what's linked and what you have highlighted. Anything orange is highlighted of what you clicked on and you're working on currently. So now I have that. It's in blue. It's doing all this stuff. The emission shader is on as well. I go and I change that. There's the sheen, roughness. You can change everything you want here. If you want to make it very basic, you want to go on your base color here and change that, and you get a little wheel. You can pull up this all the way, and so that your color can come out, and then you can just go anywhere you want. All right, so, all right, let's see here, and then let's just put it back to white there, okay? And now, let's show you what my shaders and the nodes are all about. So these are nodes, and disconnect this one. I'm going to say Shift A again, press search, and I'm going to type in mix. It's mix shader that I'm looking for, and bring that in. It's not even clicked, it's just automatically attaches to your cursor or your mouse. You just bring it up in the middle here, I leave it there, and then I leave my cursor in the middle of the shader editor window here, and wherever your cursor is in any window, it'll automatically, Blender just knows that you're in that window. So sometimes I like to click in the window to make sure, so it knows automatically, so I don't do anything crazy on a different window or something and throw myself off. So Shift A again, and then emission, type it in there, put it in there, click it in there, and then I basically clicking this little thing and dragging it out and putting it there. I'm saying all these things because I'm not assuming that you haven't seen any other video on YouTube about this, but basically nodes is not something that are easily learned, and at the same time it's not something that I have done a lot. So there we go. Okay, so you see here these things, I'm just gonna have it separate like this so you can see it all separate. And then now I could zoom in here. Ooh. All right, that's why you gotta give it a second. There you go. Oops, I brought the emission. So I'm gonna press this button here so then I can get some of the shading, and then I can see. So it's already in blue, and a lot of the blue is coming from the principal BSDF shader. So currently you see the emission shader is in white, and it has a 1.3 in strength, and I'm letting my wheel kind of like stop loading. So now, as you can see, it's already in blue, and it's already, you know, emitting a lot of light. And you want to set bloom, make sure your bloom is set on, and I'll show you that in a moment here after I turn this blue. Let's just go all the way blue right there, and it's as simple as that. And you can already see here how much a blue one has changed. It has changed a lot, and it's just gotten a darker blue or something like that. So basically, this type of stuff, once you press the final render ball, I didn't want to click on it because it'll bog down everything here while I'm streaming and trying to teach you guys all of this stuff. So it's just really cool, and it's very quick. Like, it just works so easily, and you do everything right on the viewport. It's really phenomenal piece of software here. So so now that'll be done. Let's look quickly at what it would be. So when you, like, I guess in the render with the shading and everything, you need to set a couple things. Let's have you see this. So I opened up the tab on the side. Fit that in. As you can see, it looks like a DSLR camera on the back. It says render properties. So this button here, so you're working with this one and this one. This one looks like a printer, and the printer is where you're gonna do all of your video settings and stuff like that. So let's just like quickly get into this part right here. So you would already want to have ambient inclusion and bloom all on, checked on. Motion blur, screen space reflections and stuff like that. You can have all that clicked on once you're doing your final render, including bloom and ambient occlusion. All this stuff is really just to make it look like that. That's what you want to have clicked on, so that you see already what you're seeing in my blue one, already emitting a little bit of light, and it's not even in the full render. So you can see that you need to have these things clicked on. While we're in here, you can go and click this part right here, and this is output properties. And then output properties is where you would decide your resolution and your file format, whether it's going to be video, and your encoding of your video and all of that. You could do PNGs and JPEGs and stuff like that as well. So it's really, really, really intuitive there. So let's just save that part more so for the end. Again, so let's just go back here. So all right. So now we already have let's go to this solid ball here, so I can change that. Make sure you guys can see the full window. All right, and I'm quickly checking here, live here, and I'm just gonna say hello. No one's really on live right now, but I just wanted to check to see if I give anybody a shout out or something like that. But I really, really appreciate it. Let's get into the rest of it. So I have everything written down here. So let's get into the models. Let's see. Let's get into the models. I have a list. My list is telling me what to do next, basically. So I'm doing shift and then middle mouse. Like, you really need that. And then I'm doing control for zoom in and out. But again, you got to learn all these things. So let's just give my final render thing here. Let's just give that a wireframe. Let's zoom this out. Just want to touch something, and let's make this part here full, so we can see it a little better. We can see all the models and stuff like that. All right. All right. So this whole city, now that I'm like swirling around in this whole city here, this whole city is a city that I had purchased, actually. I'd purchased this city and I've been using it for multiple different kind of projects here and there. Right now it is currently just on this music video, but I am planning on using this city once more for a web series that's coming out. But that'll be like a short mini web series, all done in Blender, and I'll show you behind the scenes how I did that and all that stuff too. And that'll be like closer to October of this year or something like that, because it's more in the horror field and stuff like that. I'll just give you a hint. It's like it feels like it's a zombie thing, but it's not. So that should be enough. Either way, until then, you'll have a behind the scenes for a short film that I got into 3 festivals currently right now, and it's a 1-minute short. So it has like it's currently in like 3 festivals. All right, and now with this city, I had purchased this city through TurboSquid, and I'll include in the description below a link to TurboSquid, and a lot of their stuff is free. Now you have to make sure when you use even if they're free, make sure that they have open copyright. So it's the copyrights are free. Basically, royalty free type of stuff is what you're looking for here, including when it comes to music or anything like that. That's usually what it is you're looking for when it comes to your type of work and what you would need for your work, including anything with YouTube videos. You need to find royalty free assets and music or whatever it is that you may need for your project to accentuate your project. Excuse me. Get some water. Now, the same thing goes with the Lamborghini here. The Lamborghini I had purchased, well, I didn't buy this one. I believe I got it for free through Turbo Squid. It's kind of cool now the way Blender's got Blender 3.0 running right now, and they're just closing in on 3.1 and 3.2, I believe now, or something like that. But if I open up a Blender Kit asset right here, this is an add-on that you must add on into properties and everything like that into your settings. I'm not going to go into that right now and do that, but basically you could get a car in there too. I'm not sure if they have a Lamborghini, but let's see. I don't know how to spell Lamborghini, I guess. Lambo. Look at that. It's right there. So it's free. It doesn't have, it usually has on the bottom right on the photo over here like a lock. And if it has a lock, it just means it's not for you. But this is latest. So this is something new that has been going on with Blender. And they added all these new cars and a bunch of free cars to use. I mean, it would have come in major handy for me when I was doing this project. But this is a while back before... is actually last year, towards the end of last year, right before I did my 1 minute short. But then everything changed with 3.0, and that's why I did the 1 minute short film. And you can actually find that here in this channel. Here you can find it. It's called Elite. But this is cool. They had added this like not too long ago, but I would have definitely needed that. So let's quickly let's try to see if we can see the whole shading. Ooh. Now you can see good, cool. So you can see how much detail there really is in a lot of the textures here when it comes to what I'm using in this program. And you can see even all the assets here layered behind the car. So a lot of this is basically alpha channeled green screened footage. So I found some green screen footage of some cop cars, a police officer, a 3D police officer reacting and stuff like that on YouTube, and I used it here, which is something that's been used before in many other things, but I used it inside of Blender, and it just made it even more so of my own project, since it's just for YouTube and it's not really a project that I was considering I was going to get paid big time for. I was doing this as a favor for a friend, and that friend was doing me a favor by letting me learn and even work through any little thing, any quirks that I may have with a Blender through this project. And usually this is how most filmmakers learn anything when it comes to filmmaking, like anything that comes to just making a film, any project or anything like that. You learn really by doing. So I recommend doing that. Give yourself a project and just go and just do it. Trust me, it'll be worth it. So I feel really confident, and at this point now, where even at the beginning when I first started doing tutorials for Blender, even the beginner ones, those beginner ones were really hard to do because I was learning at the same time. And even now I'm still kind of learning how to do this, but by being able to retain it and then teaching it to all of you, you're going to retain it even more if you're teaching this as well. So that's what it is. I'm learning this. I'm not even explaining this right. I'm retaining this so much better just by teaching it to all of you. just by trial and error, and just seeing what is it that I actually do know and remember and had retained from what I have learned from other tutorials on YouTube. So just, just have that in mind, that just you might have to test yourself, I guess, in that way. So this is kind of like a test. You guys are all like testing me here. So basically, I got the Lamborghini from Turbo Squid, and I just basically selected the model here, and you see everything is separate, like the doors and everything like that, and the wheels and all. And basically, there could be a whole video if you like. Just down in the comments down below, make sure you comment down below and let me know if you really want that video, and I'll go ahead and find a way to create that video for you. And there'll probably be more advances at that time. So right now I did kind of like a minimalistic kind of thing when it comes to moving this car. So everything is selectable, the wheels, everything. Let me just get out of this final render mode, because you can work in it, but it's just not very intuitive in the sense that it's not as fast. So you can even see the layers of my smoke, like down the bottom here on the side of the car and stuff like that. So I selected like the body itself as a whole, each part of the body, and then I just like shift, select, door, hood, front bumper, and just go around and just select them all. And then once I selected all, you can see automatically once you select all of this. I'm like in the ground here. Get myself out of there. Yeah. All right. Once you select everything, anyways, you can go over here to your shader editor window, and you see it's already base colored blue. So I turned up the metallic level to 100. The specular highlights are there, roughness a little bit. I don't know, like I was really experimenting a lot when it came to this car and just messing with models, and like that's really what I really wanted to do with this, and just play in Blender's space. So that's what this project was completely about. So I'm way past this point already, and I'm working on a short film that I star in too. So that one, I'm hoping to release it to festivals, hopefully April, early April, which would be my birthday, April 2nd. So, keep that in mind. And for all of you Aries out there, shout outs. And my wife's in March, so, so yeah. So basically, I hope that was helpful for you. It may be more of like a quick type of thing, but you see, like if you just select everything, make sure everything that you want it to be blue is in blue and stuff like that. I wanted other parts to just be what they are and stuff. So this is really cool. And then I'm just gonna let it play a little bit, see if it plays from where it is. Let's see. It's doing it. All right. I mean, it's moving the other camera over here. A lot going on in my in this program. I mean, this project file. So that's the other thing. One thing that I've been learning is splitting up the project files, and splitting up some of the work in different files and different and things like that. With this project, I wanted to completely work with everything in one space, and I still kind of think that way when it comes to 3D animation and all that stuff. So when I hopefully do which I had already said it was going to be called Scavengers, and that would be like an October project, released in October type of thing for Halloween. That one, Scavengers, is like a zombie thing. I'm thinking I might do it more or less like this, where everything is inside the same Blender file and stuff like that. But as you go, it's good to delete as you go. But there are things like certain settings and stuff like that that might be best if were changed completely and just done in a separate Blender file. And then there's ways to do like matte paintings and stuff like that. I keep hitting the microphone. There's ways of doing like matte paintings and stuff like that. So I do want to use this city, but I have a building that I want to use in that project, and I want to be inside that building. Maybe that could be a separate blend file and be a part of that, and then get all that shot, get that all done. Kind of like if you coming from real world filmmaking, which is where I'm coming from getting into this. I'm thinking kind of like that. A lot of times you need to have a cover set. A cover set is basically if it rains the day of your shoot that you're outside and you were planning to film outside, well, you can't lose a day, and losing a day basically means that you didn't shoot anything that day. There's nothing for anybody to edit from that day, so you lost a day. And when you lose a day, that's losing money. So you don't want to lose money, and you don't want to lose somebody else's money too. So it's kind of a similar thing in the sense that you're going to be losing a lot of memory and a lot of space and all that stuff. And that's also time. And that's another thing, being a father, a husband and father, like, man, like there's nothing but time. Time? No, it doesn't exist for me. It doesn't exist for anybody. Time, we all have it at the same time. We do the same time. We wake up at the same time, and we can't slow it down. We can't do anything. None of us are special. So you have to learn to kind of juggle all these things so that you can accomplish this stuff. But knowing all these rules, you'll know how to break them. And that's kind of what I'm kind of like doing here. Knowing the rules of filmmaking, I was able to bring that into this and give that to myself and give myself some guidance. All this before I'm actually going into, hopefully soon I'll be going into the Los Angeles Film School to finish my film and science, as well as 3D and VFX, get a bachelor's in 3D and VFX or something. And that's what I'm hoping I can learn 100 times more about this and give you all the information that you need so you learn every part of filmmaking from every aspect. So these are the things I'm just like working on a lot, but this channel is going to be growing over the years. Soon I'll be doing like filmmaking 101 videos too. So just look forward to that. Now, let's get into how I did with what I did with this comp here. And come on, move. Maybe I gotta go back this way. Sometimes when you get in the center, you see, it just sometimes the building maybe is just too big. You see, that's the other thing too. One thing that I learned a lot doing the short film after this was that this and in the short film, the 1 minute short film, the models, the cities and everything, they were just huge. I would just like scale them up. And when you scale them up, they're really like bogging down your computer and all that stuff. And it's just like a lot of space and everything. So you kind of, you want to learn that you don't want to do all that, and you don't want to bring it too high of a space where it's coming from already. So if you want to make it just a smidge bigger, make it just a couple blocks bigger. You see all these blocks, these little grids on the bottom of the street, here. They can give you more or less of a guidance, like a visual aid of where the 3D space and how big it is. So wherever you bought, when you bought the city, like I bought the city and I was able to just turn it on and it was just like this. Other than these neon lights of the beer and all that stuff, which is what I'm going to get into next, yeah, everything just comes textured in the way it is, and it's just like it has its own size. So if you scale them up from there, it's going to really bog things down. So I feel like that's what I did there. So I really hope you learn from my mistakes. So now let's get into these things, like the lights. Look, I got the individual lights that are animated that I got from YouTube. It's just a green screen. These are green screen elements, and I put them into DaVinci Resolve. So once I put them into DaVinci Resolve, what I do is I take out the green, and then I make sure all of the green screen editing part is done within DaVinci Resolve. And then when you export it, you make sure it's at an H.265 file, because then that'll open up the option for you to have the alpha channel, to click on the alpha channel. So you want to make sure you have your alpha channel clicked on when you export your green screen element from DaVinci Resolve. And the only way to do that is the H.265 file, not the H.264 file. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're going to hit an H.264 file probably still in Blender 3.0. It's still kind of there right now, but DaVinci Resolve has graduated over to H.265. So that is supposed to be a better codec, from what I hear. So let me know down in the comments down below if you know about that stuff. So now that I have the police officer selected, I did all that, and I come into Blender and I bring it in here. Let's just I'm gonna click the world, and then let's get rid of this Lambo here, and then I'm gonna bring this side thing, this like side window over here, so I can get my cursor. Ooh, get my cursor there. And then I could bring the cursor and bring it like closer, so like I could do that. And I could put it right on the street right there. So you see it right in the middle. So that cursor is basically where your models are going to show up. So when you hit Shift A to bring in anything, that's how you bring in stuff, Shift A. So when you hit Shift A, you go down over to image. And this is an add-on that you got to go through your properties and everything like that as well, to add in image as a plane. So let's do that really quick, because this is something I can show you here, and the whole car moving and stuff like that. That, like I said, that could be a whole other video. So let's quickly get into this. I go into File. No, I hit. What was it? Oh, it's Edit. So in Edit, you go all the way down to Preferences. Look for Preferences. So just type in image as plane. Or type in just image, I guess. All right, just type in image, and you automatically get this here. Now, you don't see it. Oh, you don't really see it at all in this thing. So, well, basically, you go to Edit, Preferences, and then you'll be able to see all that. Let me see properties. Show all the empty windows. Nah, that looks ugly. Sorry, guys. So for some reason, it doesn't show. Alrighty then. Alright, so since it's not showing there, basically it's called, just type in image and it'll be import, export, import images as planes. And once you do that, I'm going to get rid of that video. And like I said, you see how everything's just loading like this. Let's just put it in a model mode, I guess, and more or less, so we don't see so much of all the textures and everything like that. And we'll get into that in a second with the neon lights. But basically, what I'm going to be showing you here with the police officer is neon lights type of effect, type of thing that I did. So all right, so let's Shift A, and then we go Image. And then right here it would pop up because it wouldn't be there. It'll just pop. It'll pop up after you selected your add-on. So you click on that, and then it'll automatically show you a window where you can go and find your video, whatever image that you have, whatever green screen element that you have, and you can just bring it into 3D space. And once you bring it into 3D space, you gotta click the select box thing up here so you can get off the cursor. So make sure you have that, and then you can click on that, and then like I said, basically the same thing like I did with the text. I could do Z, and you could see it's just a straight line, and I could press rotate them around whichever way, and all that stuff. And then when I right click just to basically go back to where it was before. It's not an undo, it's just basically just don't do anything new. But if you left click, it'll stay there. So you can move it, left click, stay there. And then you can Command Z and get rid of it. Now, let's go over to the right over here for the properties, for the shader editor. So now in the shader editor, you can see I have selected the police officer. Okay. I have the police officer in here. So this is what the video would come in. Again, it would just be this video and the material output. So it's always going to be connected into the surface part of things. All right, so going back into here, this is what I have. So I always just make sure that I have cyclic, I believe it's called, checked on. And linear, flat, clip. It's a movie. You can move your frames from here and wherever you want to start from the starting frame, a little offset and stuff like that. The offset, I wouldn't touch that. Just maybe just the frames of wherever you want to start, maybe, but that's it. Then if you go over here, this is kind of what I was doing before. You hit Shift A, and you go into search, you type in mix shader node, and you get this when you click this and put that there, and then you type in again, and you type in transparent BSDF node. So quickly, let me see if I can get us here to that we zoomed in here a little bit. There we go. So you can see the zoomed in version. So you see transparent BSDF shader, and that's going to be basically on its own. And then down here, you see in the mix shader, they only have 2 sections here. So we have them both connected, one to the transparent BSDF shader, and then one to the emission shader. And the emission shader, you already know about it because that we already discussed it in the title when we did the title and everything. So then you connect the emission to the color part of the video, the MP4, and basically it'll automatically work from there. Now he's going to be kind of shiny and everything like that, and he's basically emitting a lot of light, so you don't want him to have him too bright as well. So I believe this is kind of how it's done. It's kind of how I did it. It could just be like a stylistic looking choice, which is why I went with it anyways. I just go with things when it comes to software and stuff like that, and programs, and creating, especially creating art. Sometimes you're in the middle of it and you want it to go left, but it's going right. Go right. Don't go left. Go where it's going. Go with the flow of it. You always want to go with the flow of your art. So I kind of just went with it. It was looking kind of sweet, looking really cool. So I liked it. It was just doing this whole weird like vibe and everything like that. And I didn't have to like light him or anything like that as well, including the police cars as well. And the police cars, I also put police lights with the same way, and I did the same thing. They're all just basically they're all like MP4s from YouTube that I downloaded from YouTube. Now how to download from YouTube, I use a thing called a 4K downloader. It won't be in the description below. I'm not sure, I just don't want to recommend it because it's something that I do use, but I don't think it's a legal thing to do, but I use it to create assets and stuff like that and create art. I mean, it is what it is. If you're using it for YouTube, I think it's open. You got open free range for that. A lot of Blender models are free, and they have the CC0 licensing on there. But there's other websites that can do that, including Turbo Squid and stuff like that. Turbo Squid would tell you if you click on in the search bar, you can click on this little like money sign ticket thing in green, and it'll only show you. Oh no, wait, is that's 1001 fonts. So going back to 1001 fonts. I guess so. Going back to 1001 fonts, they do have royalty-free fonts in there as well, and they have like a green little check mark and stuff. Turbo Squid has a different way of doing it. You can go and click free, but you have to go and click on each model and go inside and make sure that they're free for all usage. So you can use it on any project and or any kind of I realize I'm not on here. So, and you could use it on any project or on any paid type of work as well. And that's the whole thing right there. So basically, let's get myself back up in here. All right. So now let's get into how I did the neon signs, and we're almost done here. All right. So let's just get into the biggie one, because I like this one. So, I believe where I got a lot of these neon signs, because the neon signs I didn't do MP4s or anything like that. The neon signs I basically got them on a website. I believe it was called Jiffy.com. I'll link it in the description below. I think it's GIPHY.com. And they have all these like things that would have you can select a check mark or something in there where basically you can filter all your searches for things that are have a transparent background. So everything's more of like a PNG GIF. So everything's a GIF, but it's a PNG. So things are moving and stuff like that, but it's it still has that PNG effect, and you don't really have to do all that much work. So you see here automatically. Let's go all the way for the sake of learning. I'm gonna go all the way because you can see all the neon signs, the pizza on the bottom, and the beers on the side. But you see how it's emitting light. I also have lights next to it. So give it a second. You see all the buildings are turning on their lights and everything like that. Just picture that throughout the city in here. Everything is turning on. And the textures and all that. And it just, because it's such a big model and it was so scaled up, because I didn't know better. And this is where hopefully you learn from my mistakes. But still, I still came out with a really dope video, which we'll check out at the end of this this video, so I could tell you a couple things that we didn't get to do here. But basically, so you see here, so it's just, as you see, it's just a GIF. It's basically like if it was a big video, and it looks like Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite films, and this is one of a lot of people's favorites scene here when they're dancing and stuff like that in the dancing contest. But this that I just selected right now, this is a area light that I have that is emitting purple light, and it's just basically shooting up. And then I have another one on the bottom over here too, that's shooting straight at the bottom, so it could hit the car, hit the streets, hit the whole area, and everything like that. I just wanted, I really wanted a lot of like lively kind of lighting and stuff like that. More of like a party type of thing, type of vibe, because of the song. And the song is just about, popping blue one pill or something and just going crazy. And it's showing that visually here, and that's what I'm doing here. So basically, when I select this GIF, it's doing the same thing. I have it set as the same way as the police officer. So the GIF, you see it says jiffy.mp4. I don't have it on C-Click, so I believe it just didn't work that way. And I believe I had to type in MP4 manually on my desktop on the file, like turn it into an MP4. So then when it shows up in here, it'll pop up. I believe that's exactly what I did here. You see, I was really experimenting and trying different things and doing different things. So that's what I'm hoping that you learn from here and you can catch from here. Maybe you could try it out. You get a different look or a different vibe. It may not work. If it doesn't work, then that's what it is. But it may really work. It could work 99%. That 1%, I have no idea. But it's worked. It worked for me. And in the words of Ian Hubert, he says, you know, not everything sticks together, but his stuff, some of his stuff did, and that project that he was talking about at the time, it did. So it just for me, it did, you know, and like that's usually what it is. Instead of making the project go left and when it's going right, just go with the project. You go with the flow of your project. So with all that being said, let's get into how we render stuff, and let's move that window, getting closer over here. So we're over here to the side, and you saw how I popped open the little printer thing, and then we can see all the formats basically. Let's zoom in. All right, and then as you can see here, this is the format here. 1920 by 800 gives me the widescreen, the 235 widescreen aspect ratio, but this would be in 1080p resolution. Okay, and then there's a 4K version too of that as well, and I'll get into that eventually when I talk about my my live action short film. That will be out hopefully in the summer. All right, so let's see, scroll down here. So I go to output. In the output section right here, you open, dang, I just closed it up. Just open it up. Open it up, and then I go and I click here, and you have all of these settings here, PNG, whatever have you. I'm just going to click PNG. Let me get this off of model stuff over here. All right, cool. Let's go back here and let's go to FFmpeg video, and that's going to be your video. So then encode will pop up. This will pop up right here. Let me see if you even see this part. Let's scroll. Okay. So you got output. Let's bring it up here. Fade. So when you go into output, I need you to see when I select here as well. That's so cool. Let me fade this, and you could see 3.0 on the bottom right. This says 3.0. So click here, and you got all these selections here. PNG, JPEG, but you want FFmpeg video, and that's where this encoding thing will pop up. It says encoding right under it. You click on encoding, scroll. It says video codec. So video codec, you go through video codec and you look for H.264. And don't, you could just go to H.264 and then right over the video part, because this video part wouldn't be like popped out, but when you go into encoding and you click on video, then video codec, you get H.264. You want to go back up here into container, output file container, and the container will be an MPEG-4. So you click on that MPEG-4 file, so it can turn into an MPEG-4. So with all that being said, this is how you would export everything. That's your export settings. And then quickly after, you want to, if you're ready to go, you want to go up on the top On the top here, let's fade this in here. On the top here, and this render in blue right here, render, you click render, and here you can render image or render animation. You got to render animation, you click on this, and then you're going to get a whole big pop-up window. From there on, I wouldn't even touch the computer anymore and just let it be and just let yourself render. Just know that you're probably going to render either all day or render, you know, half a day. It depends on which rendering that you used. Let's show you that part over here with the camera, where all the settings are over here. So basically, clicking the camera part and scrolling up, it says render engine is Eevee, and Eevee you do a lot in on the viewport and everything like that. And Eevee, you can kind of see what it looks like more or less. Actually, you'll see what it looks like. The final render is really gonna look like with Eevee, and Eevee is pretty badass, and it has a bunch of really cool stuff with it. But they came out with Cycles X as well. So I've been using Cycles, and there's Workbench as well too. I've used Cycles for I believe I was using it for the short film, the 1 minute short film that I did for Christmas. And I'll be doing a behind the scenes. That's the next one I'm going to be doing a behind the scenes for after this one, and that'll be either next week or the week after, or whenever, you know, that week. I don't have too many videos coming out. This week there's not too many videos coming out other than breaking down the Blu-ray for No Way Home. So you get Cycles. I don't know. I don't believe this is Cycles X. Maybe I had to I don't know if I didn't download it or something, or maybe it was on when I did it on the short, but I didn't see X on there. I think it was just regular Cycles, but basically it was rendering a whole lot quicker than Eevee was. And even with that, that being said, you can go over here and go into where is it? You could scroll down. There's something I saw. I'm just kind of adding something. You're able to basically take down the not the resolution setting, but it's like a detail setting or something, I believe, when it came to that, and it just did it a lot quicker. But we'll get into that, you know, another time when I talk about the behind the scenes for Elite. And you can go ahead and check out that short film if you like. It's on Greenlight here. It's also on my personal channel as well. So with all that being said, let's see if anybody's here online. Oh, I already see somebody here. Hapol Mashoj. Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're learning a lot here. Let's get myself up on here. All right, cool. So quickly, I'm trying to remember what to do next. And I did the car. Well, I guess that's basically all of it then. And you even got the render settings and everything like that as well. So I guess I'll just be doing my goodbyes right now. And I appreciate everybody else that showed up on live. All of you up on live, and let's see. I mean, this is already an hour. All right, cool. So let's get myself up on here. All right, so with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this Blender behind the scenes of my hip hop visualizer. I hope all of you had a lot of fun creating this with me, and saw all the really cool things that you could do with Blender, and all the cool things that are coming out in Blender as well, and the stuff that I didn't even get to use for this project that are out currently right now for Blender. But if you really enjoyed yourself, let me know down in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out more videos here on this channel. We have all these videos here that go behind the scenes on major movies in theaters, and don't forget to check out No Way Home and Uncharted and all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments down below which movie you were gonna go check out, and if you learned anything in Blender. And let me know, did you check out Blender for the first time because of myself? Let me know, because I really would like to know here on this channel. We have a bunch of filmmaking stuff here on this channel, especially when it comes to learning about filmmaking. So I'll see you here next time. Later.